That's all I gotta say to start off this video. It's mainly due to the fact of console gaming, console gaming, console gaming. Like, I'm not big on console gaming. I haven't had a console in for freaking ever. I get a console and look what I do. I start broadcasting mainly because I see trends in technology and yada yada. You gotta keep up with bullshit, so on and so forth. In any case, what I'm ultimately getting at, and this is what I want to tell everybody, is console gaming. You like the dramatic pause? Console gaming is gonna die. It's gonna. Like, think about it. Look at me. Look at me right now. I'm on PlayStation Network. Yeah, PlayStation Network might not die, but the fact that I'm on a PlayStation 4 is gonna die. Now, I can go build an ultimately more powerful computer at any given time. Being in the tech industry, I can tell you, I could make a computer for exponentially less than a PlayStation 4 that could operate 5 times better. Yeah, I won't have peripherals included in that buying purchase, just like a PlayStation 4, because a PlayStation 4 requires, yet again, the peripherals. You just buy the console and it comes with a controller and a shitty headset that broke on the first day. But anyway, what I'm getting at is that you won't ever buy another console. Is my ultimate synopsis here. Is I know that in a given amount of time, we won't be playing on consoles anymore. We'll be playing on computers built like consoles. There will be companies that outsource to Microsoft because look, historically speaking, this is the best way I can get at this. Is Microsoft is a at this point and always has been and always will be a a, uh, a software developing company. They're not a hardware. The only time that Microsoft has developed hardware is when Apple came out with some of their base models of the Apple, the Macintosh, and Bill Gates came along and said, "Oh, hey, here's a chip that you can install inside your computer, but then you can program it. But then you can program it." So he's always been a software developer. Bill Gates also fucking raped Steve Jobs for a lot of his money because Bill Gates is a dick and he's a monopolist, and now that's why he, after being called out on his monopoly, has then created the Bill and Linda Gates Foundation, which is supporting some of the stupidest bullshit like core education, which is one of the most ridiculous things ever. But back to the subject here, the subject matter is we are leading to a point where we're not going to do consoles anymore. And Microsoft has more or less stated this. I forget the documentation that I read, but it's not like it was conclusive, but it did state that they were wanting to do away with the console idea and try to port the Xbox software itself to shell inside of a Microsoft system. So like on your Windows 10, you just like back in the day Windows Media Center, you could just go boot up Xbox on top of your I almost said Xbox on top of your Windows 10 computer. And as a software developing team, they can outsource this for so much more money and make other companies build these computers that are based upon an idea to operate their software. They make more money doing that than trying to actually make a computer. When they sell a 360 system, or they even, that's outdated, but they even sell an Xbox One, they're losing money. And at this point, PlayStation is kind of getting to that point, but PlayStation has always been known a as a hardware company. PlayStation. Wow, I'm saying PlayStation. Sony. You get what I mean. Sony has been a hardware developing company, but even for them in the field of video gaming, is they're not. I would say they're losing dollars. It's not significant in their eyes, but they're still losing dollars because they've got all these people that are wanting to port to computers. And you know, I'm at the point where I want my own PC again, a good, really good gaming PC is for the fact that, I mean, look, look at this. Look, look at. I mean, I'm trying to turn the camera to even look at the panel on the right and the on air and all that BS. All of this just ultimately builds on my idea that eventually, because with computers you can cut away all the parameters that you see outside of the actual play screen, which the majority of YouTubers are already doing. So I'm technically behind in software and all of it. So I mean, fuck this little rabbit because he came in so many updates, so far ago. But I just got him on console version probably a couple updates ago. I would say within the last 5 months, I saw a rabbit hopping around my screen. I said, "Oh, there he is! Finally, I've been watching everybody on YouTube and the PC version slaying rabbits for years now, and I just got, I just got rabbits again." Why are the console? And I'm not basing this off of Minecraft, but I'm just saying, why are console lower end than what you can get on a PC? But I can ultimately render any game in a higher uh, frame rate, in a higher resolution, anything on a computer because I can update the hardware on a computer quicker than I can a console. And I jeopardize the integrity of the console when I start trying to update hardware. And on a uh, what I'm getting at is that slowly but surely, I feel like the gaming community is going to get out of a hardware-based community where we're looking at, oh, when's Nintendo releasing this, or when is Sony releasing that, or when is Microsoft releasing this. I really feel like we're going to get to the point where we're going to say, oh, okay, what's the next big video game? I think that we're going to cut this trend of companies leading our basis upon which we play our games to more of uh, the companies that are releasing the games and the engines that the games are based upon and how well built your system has to be to play said games. So either the industry is going to have to lead towards something like I don't know, like a system where you can yourself update it right then and there. Like, oh, this new update came out, you might want to buy this new piece to try to run this game as best as possible. Now that makes sense to me, right? That absolutely makes sense to me. But if you're gonna try to throw some software at me and say, oh, this only runs on this, then I'm gonna get really pissed at you when I say, well, I only have this. Because we're getting to this next gen idea where I keep hearing stuff about the PlayStation 4.5 and the new Nintendo, which I forget the freaking acronym for, but who the shit cares? Because honestly, I just want to know, how much am I going to pay for this stuff versus am I just going to build a computer at this point and see if Nintendo is going to outsource their system to Microsoft and uh oh crap. Oh crap. Oh crap, Apple. That's not even their company name. But you get what I'm saying. I just wanted to make sure that I'm not going to invest into something that I need to not invest into. Now, if I invest into something of such magnitude, I want to make sure that it holds up to the dollar. Like, I just bought my PS4 back in December, and I'm now in, what is it? I think this video is dated 4/22, just because I'm posting this at, like, the morning of 4/22. Happy holidays, everybody, if you celebrated on top of that. But I just want to say that uh, just investing into this new system, I'm already hearing about the new gen consoles. I'm one of those people that kind of holds off. I want to see what the system's potential has. I already bought a PlayStation Vita and had held on my PlayStation Vita since I was 21 years old, but now 5 years later, my PlayStation Vita has been horribly outdated, and not very many games have come out for it. And I'm actually really depressed about that. Like that system was such a flop. I thought it was going to do so well, but then yeah, you know, Sony just let me down. Because I'm really about handhelds and portables and where the future is going as far as what incorporates into my day-to-day life. But for that one to flop as bad as it did, it kind of sucked. But I said, you know what, I'm going to give Sony the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to buy a PlayStation 4. After I bought my PlayStation 4 and doing remote play, it made so much sense to have a PlayStation Vita. But other than that, it doesn't make sense to have a PlayStation Vita. So what are consoles at that point? My cell phone has had more capability, more function than the PlayStation Vita. And you know, there's some games that I play on my phone where I really question the capability of the PlayStation Vita because I say, well, heck, my phone, which I purchased 3 years down the line, has more raw processing power and capability than a PlayStation Vita. 4 years down the line. And I mean, I bought the lowest of low-end phones. Now, how is it that that happens? Moore's law absolutely states, Moore's law states that every what is it, 2 years, if you buy a computer right now, 2 years from now, you're going to have an outdated computer. So that means the consoles technically can't keep up with the supply. Yeah, there's a demand for the console because the console keeps we are so stuck on this console system and idea that we've forgotten that there is something called supply and demand. Now we, as the consumer, can demand something that keeps up with the supply. Now, if my software and my capability keeps pushing the boundaries, then I want something to supply that new demand. So I want a continuously updating system, is what I'm getting at. And either we have to merge platforms as a whole, we have to merge platforms, and if we don't merge platforms, then we have to either sell rights to platforms, like shell the Microsoft system so that way it runs in Windows, or the PlayStation system or the Nintendo system. Either you got to be able to run some sort of shell inside of a already operating computer to give up some licensing. Yeah, you're gonna have to, but if that's where the demand goes, then you got to supply the demand. Simple economics, just saying. So as a whole, as the gamer community, really guys, I really think that we need to start investing into ideas on online. I'm not saying actually give substantial amounts of money, but if you see somebody trying to fund an interesting idea to you, then at least kind of give into it, research it. Don't just give money up to stupid fucking people that are trying to swindle you out of it. No, by no means, don't do that. But, I mean, look into it. And if the company looks like something you should invest into, then invest into it. Don't worry about that wall. Creeper. Anyway, just guys, as a gamer, I want a future. I want a future for gaming that is beneficial to me, because I'm a gamer who doesn't game often. And when I do game, I game fun. I want to have fun. I want to sit here and just talk to people, and I want to be social. But on the PlayStation Network, that's hard. It seems like the Microsoft Network has a more cult following of people that want to actually talk and invest into other people. But essentially what I'm getting at is that we either need to merge across the board and go to some engine like Steam, which Steam is essentially a shell that runs inside a computer system that you then go run your games off of. Am I right? I'm right. So let's go ahead and merge all of our platforms and become universal gamers. I've often said to everybody that we need to open source everything, just everything in general. Yeah, there's intellectual property held by some groups and organizations that I can absolutely understand why you wouldn't open source your stuff. But then at the same time, if you open source it to an extent where you say you still hold intellectual property, but anybody can come in and write and edit, but you are the one that holds the actual encryptions, then you could say, oh, I like what this person wrote to me and they submitted to me. I'm going to make that an update, which is already happening in the Android community. That's already happening in the Android community. iPhones, you can't do that. You can't open source an iPhone. Yeah, you really can, and that was the big controversy for a while. People saying that, oh no, you can't do that with an iPhone. If you release the unlock codes, then everybody's iPhone's compromised. Everybody's iPhone was compromised before that. Trust me, people who want to gain intellectual property can and will gain it. Our own federal government's great at doing it. And I've said this more than enough times. You send a picture through Snapchat, through Facebook, through your cell phone, through any kind of telecommunication, and let's say in the funniest form, it's a dick pic. And even if it's not a dick pic, it's a tit pic, right? Tit or dick pic. You're sending that through a system which our government has already said they are looking at this shit. They are looking at it. Yeah, it's not like your dick pic is going to get posted everywhere because of some government official, but just think about it, that probably 3 to 4 government officials have seen your dick and or your tits if you sent it through any kind of telecommunication. So, there you go. I don't know where I'm really getting at with that thought, but ultimately, this whole thing is about the tomorrow, the where are we going with gaming, and I absolutely believe 100% without a shadow of a doubt we're going to get rid of console gaming. Console gaming is coming to an end. And we, as gamers, most likely see this. I hope we see it, because if you don't see it, you're naive. Because I didn't game for the longest time. I swear to you, from age 21 to now, I never touched video games. And I'm 26 years old now. When I was an avid gamer before, all the way up to 21. That gap of that 5 years, I never touched video games. And then I finally got back into video games and really realized where the industry's going, and it was actually really upsetting to see it. But then, as an entrepreneur myself, as somebody who wants to dive into a greater tomorrow, and understand that we can and see something more fun that our future holds for us is an ever changing. It's an ever changing world, and I hope that people out there have some sort of entrepreneurial spirit as I do, and wants to actually strive to see something more fun happen out of the gaming world. I mean, the gaming world appeals to me. I mean, I'm gonna follow it. Am I gonna be on top of it? By no means. I have mad respect for anybody who enjoys this community. Me, more or less, I just like getting drunk, and I like coming in and talking my face off, listening to people, listening to their story, because that's always what I've done with gaming. It's not about the actual gaming. It's more about the interaction with the people, because I feel like I'm socially awkward and can't do the thing I want to in real life, but it's something about not being able to actually see the person that makes it easier for me to talk to them. Social disorders, I'm pretty sure we all struggle from them, but that sounds like one to me. But in any case, what I'm getting at is that I know that gaming is going somewhere new, that as a whole, we all work on pushing towards it and trying to figure out that we don't want consoles. We don't want consoles. We just want universal peripherals. And we want universal games that operate amongst every last bit of software, that each bit of software can talk to the others. Because I swear to you, I've already heard it from other gamers. Yes, we've talked about it. Oh, yeah, this company, that company. But that's called a monopoly. When companies merge like that, it's called a monopoly. If Nintendo merged with Microsoft, merged with Sony, it's called a monopoly. It's not going to happen that way in any way, shape, or form. In an economic scheme and a system, one wants to dominate the other. In the system that we're at right now, it's called an oligopoly. Most of power resides within the majority of the major companies. Most of the power remains in the majority of the major companies. So that means like we got Nintendo, we got Steam, we got Microsoft, and we got Sony. The four powers right now that I can think of off the top of my head is the big, and then we'll get into cell phones, like portable gaming as far as cell phones. But that's something that's just beyond me. I don't know why anybody would want to play this shitty ass cell phone games where you actually have to invest into uh, you actually literally have to invest into the game. Like you have to buy shit for the game to play the game. When I buy this game and play this game, that's a lot more fun to me. But like I was saying, companies won't merge across the board. No, they won't. They will never make a Nintendo, Sony, Steam, Microsoft company ever. That's not going to happen. Now, what can happen is unified servers, where you can have a game that operates amongst all the servers, which would be a lot of fun. I think those kind of games would be a lot of fun, like a multi-server game. And for them to even put the programming amongst the servers is a huge feat, huge feat. But that would be a lot of fun when I, myself, as a PlayStation dweller, could go and play a game with my brother who plays on Steam, which they've already done with PlayStation and Final Fantasy. Fuck, I want to say 12. Don't quote me on that. I just know that I've watched a lot of YouTube videos about multi-server, multi-dimensional servers, I guess. It's a stupid fucking name for it, but you guys understand what I'm saying. Layman's terms is that I could log in on my PlayStation 4 but play with somebody who's on PC, or play with somebody who's playing on an Xbox, and you play with somebody who's on a Macintosh. Just multi-platform games that are run through a server to then look like it's run on multiple systems. That's one concept that I have, but never do I see a singularity, like one system that runs Microsoft games, that runs PlayStation games, that runs Nintendo games. That in itself will never happen, especially for the fact that Nintendo saturates their market in certain areas and then drives up demand in other areas. Brilliant marketing strategies, and if you've researched Nintendo, they'll do it. They've done it forever, and swear to you right now, go and try to buy any game from any Nintendo 64 game, NES game that is well heard of and well known from a local vendor, and see if you can buy that game at cheap. It's not gonna happen. Like go look for Chrono Trigger for the SNES. Shit you not, that game is gonna run you like $65 to $70 at any retailer if you can find it at a local retailer. So that's just a little bit of my theory on gaming. I don't know if anybody else believes me on this, and I hope I do get some sort of views. But that is about a 24 and a half or 25 minute. This is a 25-minute rant about about the future of gaming, where it should go, where it will be, and a little bit of the past, and just a little bit more knowledge on it. But if you guys watch this, please let me know. Please rate, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I'm gonna be that person that begs for all of it, but you know, I'm not gonna shit you here. Like, I wanna see a future out of my channel, and this is the beginning, the basis, the pre of what should be something really great. So thank you for tuning in, and as for always, this is Blayho, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Oh, I suck at trying to back out.